are three magicians. Wow, said Jack and Annie together. Inside the crowded fairgrounds, below the looming Eiffel Tower, a band played a lively march. Fountains shot colored water high into the sky. A small train trudged through the crowd, blowing its whistle. People of all ages from many different countries bustled about in the twilight. Everyone seemed to be having fun, reading from guidebooks, strolling from one exhibit to another, or buying refreshments and souvenirs. Can't see much from here, said Annie. It's hard to know what's going on. What about that little train, said Jack. Maybe you could ride on it and get a good look at everything. Well, great idea, said Annie. The train whistle blew again. Over there, said Jack, pointing to a clear space where passengers were getting off the train and other passengers were boarding. Hurry, said Jack. They raced to the train and jumped on, and he dug into her pocket and took out some coins. She held them out to the conductor. He took a few, and Jack and Annie squeezed into the seats on a wooden bench. The whistle blew. Steam puttered out of the smokestack, and the small train began to move. Look for anything about magical magicians, said Aunt Jack. As the train slowly chugged through the World's Fair, a tour guide's voice blared from the megaphone. Welcome to your World's Fair sightseeing train. On the ride, you will witness the astonishing history of human structures as seen nowhere else. In every age, buildings had style and beauty. The train chugged by cave dwellings, caravans, tents, and huts made of mud. Magic magicians? Jack thought as he looked at the different structures. No, no, no. The train passed a thatched cottage, a mansion with columns, and a palace with a huge golden dome. No, 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 Jack thought. Now we'll visit the many lands of the world, said the tour guide. First, Egypt. The train chugged past an outdoor cafe. Smells of Greek meat and rich coffee filled the air. Three women with veils over their faces danced to flute music. The magician's there, thought Jack. Next, we have an African village on the beautiful Sangram Plain, said the tour guide. They passed a cluster of huts surrounded by tall grass. People played drums and shook the ground rattles. Still no magicians, thought Jack. And now we'll visit a New Year's festival in faraway China, said the guide. The train chugged by Chinese acrobats and a huge dancing red dragon. Dragons are sort of magic, aren't they? Said Annie, looking back. It's just a couple of guys in costumes, said Jack. That doesn't count. On our left is a Muslim mosque, the tour guide said. On the right, a Buddhist temple. Here is an exquisite Japanese garden. No, 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 murmured Jack. The train passed by a show where dolls dressed in outfits from all around the world. It rolled a giant brown statue of a woman. This amazing creation is the Roman goddess Venus, said the tour guide. It's made entirely of chocolate. That is amazing, said Annie. Yes, it is, but it is not magic, said Jack. The train rode by a globe of the world at least 3 stories high. The globe was turning slowly. See the lovely mountains, deserts and rivers and oceans of earth, the tour guide said. The tour guide. This fair is a living encyclopedia. And he said, but the encyclopedia doesn't have what we need to find, said Jack. Dinah started tumbling through the guidebook. Oh, fantastic, a train passenger said. Shocking, said another. Magical, exclaimed another. Jack looked up. Did someone just say magical? He asked Annie. False alarm, said Annie. They're talking about the Eiffel Tower. The train came to a stop. All the passengers were gazing up. Pink lights lit the huge arches at the base of the tower. The Eiffel Tower was built especially for this World's Fair, said the tour guide. This tower is nearly 1,000 feet high, making it the tallest structure in the world today. Some of you may want to leave us here to get a closer look at Paris's newest mackerel. People began climbing off the train. Maybe we should get off here too, said Jack. This train isn't much help. Jack and Annie jumped off the train just as it His hair is whistle blue and it started moving again. That really is a tall tower, said Jack, looking up. Really tall, breathed Annie. Iron rods rose in crisscross patterns high into the sky. Nancy, iron powerful spotlights beamed from the top of the tower, sweeping long fingers of light over the city. It would be fun to ride the top of in one of those elevators, said Annie. I know, but we don't have time, said Jack. We have to find the 4 new magicians before the evil sorcerer finds them. I wonder if he's here yet, said Annie. Jack and Annie looked around at the people busily moving about the fairgrounds. Moving from one exhibit to another, parents were holding their children's hands and pointing to the tower. Couples were strolling arm in arm. Everyone seemed to be happy and excited. No one looks like an evil sorcerer, thought Jack. No one looks like a magician of sound, a magician of light, or a magician of the invisible, or a magician of iron either. Jack's thoughts were interrupted by a young girl's voice. You see, Papa, it's magic. Magic, said Jack. He and Annie looked at each other. Over there, said Annie, pointing to a nearby exhibit. The little girl was laughing as her father pressed a pair of earpieces against his ears. Jack and Annie walked closer to the exhibit. This is possibly unbelievable, Mummy, the man said, shaking his head. It's magic, isn't it, Papa? Said the girl. It can send a voice 1,000 miles. Jack grabbed Jack's arm. Did you hear what you just said? She whispered. Send a voice 1,000 miles. That's what the magician of sound does. Right, said Jack. He and Miss Annie looked at the sign above the exhibit. It said telephone, a new invention by Alexander Graham Bell. She's talking about a telephone, said Jack. I guess it's just been invented. So Alexander Graham Bell must be the magician of sound, said Annie. Oh man, do you think that Alexander Graham Bell is here in person? Said Jack. I'll ask, said Annie. She walked to a gray-haired woman helping with the exhibit. Excuse me, but do you know where we can find Alexander Graham Bell? I'm afraid he just left, said the woman. Where did he go? Asked Annie. I do not know, said the woman. A strange man gave me an invitation to give to Mr. Bell. When Mr. Bell read it, he left at once. That's all I know. Excuse me, the woman turned away to answer someone else's question. Alexander Graham Bell, Jack said to Annie. He's a famous inventor, not a magician. The evil sorcerer must have heard about the telephone and thought it was magic, said Annie. I wonder what the invitation said Jack. And why did that lady say the messenger was strange? Let's ask, said Annie. Annie tapped the gray-haired woman on the arm. Excuse me, we have 2 more questions. She said, do you know what was on the invitation? And why did you say the messenger was strange? I do not know what the invitation said, replied the woman, but the man who delivered it was dressed in a long dark cloak, wore a hood that hid most of his face, and spoke in a deep, whispery voice. Jack felt a chin go down his spine. So that's what the evil sorcerer looks like, he thought. Just like you expect. Sounds like the sorcerer, and he whispered to Jack. I know, Jack said, looking around. Do you have any idea where the strange man in the cloak went? Annie asked the woman. He asked for the direction to the Hall of Machines, said the woman. Where's that? Asked Jack. Is that here at the fair? Yes, of course. It's a gigantic building made of glass. Can you see the roof? The woman pointed the arched glass rooftop looming above the fair buildings in the distance. I see it, said Annie. Good, said the woman. Excuse me now. I must have some other people. Sure thing, said Annie. Let's go, she said to Jack. She started walking quickly across the fairgrounds. Wait, said Jack, running after her. The messenger is the sorcerer. I just know it, said Annie. Of course he is, said Jack. But what do we do when we find him? I don't know yet, said Annie. He could be dangerous. We need to make a plan. We need to find him first, said Annie. Before he gets away, hurry. She broke into a run and dashed towards the Hall of Machines.